What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming back with episode number 17 of my F1 2020 My Team series. Here today for the Singapore Grand Prix. So, coming off back-to-back races with points, actually 3 races in a row with points, back to Hungary, and then with the third place finish, and then 2 consecutive 9th place finishes in a row. Although the ending to Monza was not what we wanted, with a bit of an accident with Italian driver Antonio Giovinazzo. So we're looking to bounce back today here in Singapore to look to a much better result. So just looking here at the power unit department, and we're going to buy this bit for $5 million to help the quality control as much as possible to hopefully develop the car without any issues. So that's one thing taken care of. That's $5 million down the drain, but we will get over that as now we move into the weekend, and we are expecting a dry weekend, so that's good news. And this is one of the best tracks personally for me to drive on the calendar. Apart from Monaco, I enjoy driving a straight circuit, and this is no exception, this track. So yeah, really looking forward to it. One of my favourite tracks to drive, so I think we have a good chance of scoring points here this weekend. So that's what we will be aiming for, is a chance in the points. So anything can happen at this racetrack, and it will happen. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully we can get some points. Hopefully our teammate Mick can also have a good race. So we'll now move into qualifying. So welcome to qualifying here at the Singapore Grand Prix. It's going to be a very important session, as it's difficult to overtake around this track, especially while running higher aero as we are here this afternoon, or this evening I should say, as we come around the final corner for our first lap here in Q1, and we're straight into the 1 minute 34's quick pace already around this track. Second lap on the same set of tyres, and we are slightly down, and we get a third green sector, so not sure what the Delta is a bit confused, but I didn't do a second run, so we managed to get through Q2 on one set of tyres here, finishing in 14th place. Being knocked out in Q1 is the two Haas. I have missed that, unfortunately. Our teammate, though, was knocked out in Q1. We now move here to Q2 with our first lap here, being also once again in the 1 minute 34, so really quick pace here at Singapore. Now we're going to go on board for our second lap at the end of the session here, full lap here. Our first run, you can see, has us in 4th place, but coming into turn 1 just before the 50 metre board, back down the 4th gear using that inside curve, now down the 3rd gear and trying to be as smooth as possible on the power. Now coming into turn 5, it's a quick corner using that inside curve, 5th gear, using all the road on the exit, open the DRS on the run now to turn 7, just looking after the 100 metre board, going to shift back down the 4th gear for this left-hander, and now looking just before this little black box, back to 2nd gear here for turn 8, and now coming through turn 9, back to 4th gear, and coming into the old Singapore sling. Interesting corner, this one, you're going to take a lot of speed into turn there, and now through turns 12, and coming over the Anderson Bridge, and back down the 2nd gear here, getting the throttle as early as you dare, using all the road on the exit, coming now down to turn 14, and braking just after the 100 metre board, once again back down the 3rd gear, trying to use all the room on the exit, and now on the run to this right-left chicane, a quicker chicane, but is now trying to come underneath this bridge here. Very tricky, make sure not to miss the barrier on the right, coming through the right-hander, and now another chicane to turn 21 and 22, and now this is a difficult corner to get the power down, but we managed to do so here. And then the last 2 corners very quick in 6th gear, and the run to the line as we improve the time. A really good lap there, and that puts us into 3rd place, so we're looking really strong here in qualifying as we go to Q3 with 2 sets of soft tyres, which I'm looking forward to. And you can see knocked out there is Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, Gro. Is that Gro? No, that's Esteban Ocon, sorry. Kvyat, Gasly, I believe, in there as well. So we moved to Q3, and as you notice here, I've got intermediate tyres on, and it has started raining. There was no indication of rain before qualifying, so there's some weather being thrown in. I guess it fell down between Q2 and Q3, and you can see Bottas ahead going out also on the intermediate tyre. So this throws a spanner in the works for Q3. So yeah, we'll see how we go there as we now come out to do our first lap. And I don't know if the track condition is going to get any better or any worse. No indication of that. So this is our first lap here. You can see we're just kind of struggling with the rear of the car and finding the grip. It's really your first lap out here in these conditions. It's going to be tricky, and we now come through the last corner. Bottas sets the benchmark time. Can we beat it here through the last 2 corners? No, we can't. We're not even close. So yeah, really tricky conditions here in Singapore. As you can see, after our first run, we're down in 10th place. So I was really confident with our dry pace that we could be qualifying inside the top 6 maybe, but doesn't look like that could be the case here in the wet conditions. Just trying to find the grip is a bit of a struggle, and that lap, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't fast at all. So here we go, end of the session now, 1 minute left, and you can see the rain looks like it's actually a lot worse here at this point of the session. So as we come through the first corner, we're slightly up on the braking zone, but as we enter the first 3 corners, you can see we're losing time, and the confidence level is not as high. As the circuit's just a little bit more wetter, you can see I tried to throw the car into turn 5, but it just didn't stick, and now really struggling with the rear wheels in terms of wheel spin on the run to turn 7, and we break the 100-meter board back down the 3rd gear. And can we do anything? But you can see we're not very quick at all. We now move to the end of the lap, and you can see how much time we've lost as the rain is just getting worse and worse. Nobody improved their lap times. I don't think that other AI drivers even bothered to come out on track, and if they did, I think they just went straight back into the pit lane. I finished a lap here, but it's no improvement, and we will start the Grand Prix from 10th place, which is really unfortunate. Valtteri Bottas says he was the first person on track, gets in the best lap time, I guess, with Hamilton 2nd and Leclerc in 3rd place, with Vettel 4th, Verstappen 5th, Albon 6th, Ricciardo, Perez and Sainz rounding out the top 10 with myself. So yeah, disappointing start, but now we'll move into the race and hope for a much better result.
Here we go then, it's Formula 1 in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to all of you at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot, horribly humid, but very beautiful streets of Singapore. The Marina Bay street circuit then has 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, taking us a total of 3.1 miles around the landmarks of downtown Singapore. An average lap speed around here, just 107 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, and the captain, Stroll, Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Kvyat, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Kimi Raikkonen, and Roman Grosjean, Magnussen, Schumacher, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Welcome everybody here today to the Singapore Grand Prix around the Marina Bay street circuit. Here we have an interesting strategy laid out by the team, a 2-stop strategy, soft to medium to the hard tyre. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, but I'm probably yeah, that's how the strategy is for now. So we got Leclerc ahead of us in 8th place. He's copped a 5th-place grid penalty, I assume, for a gearbox. So that's unfortunate for Charles, as he qualified in 3rd. And this is not a track where you want to be losing out to your rivals. So Bottas on pole. He's got a really, really strong championship lead here, and he once again has a chance to put the gap even further between himself and Lewis Hamilton, as we now line up on the grid here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Can we score a second podium? We had really strong pace through the weekend. It didn't come together for us in Q3 as the revs rise here in Singapore for the Marina Bay Street Circuit. And it's go here in Singapore for 31 grueling laps. And we get a really good start compared to Leclerc. We move to the inside immediately as we come into turn 1. There's contact between ourselves and Charles. He turned in, not knowing there was myself up his inside, but we move immediately into 7th place. So we gained 3 spots after the first 3 corners. So it's a perfect start here as we now follow Ricciardo through turn 5, and we're running that high downforce setup. You can see Ricciardo pulling away from us on the straight, and you can see Leclerc, he's got the slipstream. He goes for a move down the inside into turn 7, but he's not close enough, and we hold on to the position and remain in 7th place. So positive start here for ourselves today, as the 2 Mercedes are out front with Vettel in 3rd place, and Max Verstappen has not made the best start, losing out to his teammate Alexander Albon in 5th place there, with Ricciardo closely following him in 6th, as we come over the Anderson Bridge for the first time and looking for a good exit here, but we're not close enough to the back of Ricciardo, and Leclerc is not close enough to get past us. Can Verstappen do anything about his teammate Albon, as Ricciardo has a little slide on the rear tyres, but Verstappen, well and truly, not close enough into the next corner, and he is going to be quicker than his teammate, but can he find a way past around Singapore, one of the toughest places to overtake around, after probably the toughest after Monaco. So it's just where can Verstappen find a way to get through, as can we make a move on Daniel Ricciardo, as he's losing touch already to the Red Bulls, and we're right behind him as Valtteri Bottas leads the opening lap here in Singapore, as now we're going to move on to the 3rd lap here, and DRS is enabled for the first time. Ricciardo does not have DRS himself. We're confident on the throttle pedal out of turn 5, as we now sweep through turn 6 and into turn 7, but we're not close enough despite having DRS to make a move onto Ricciardo into turn 7. We have a little look up the inside, but nothing gains, but we get a great exit out of turn 7. We have a look into turn 8, but I'm not going to put my car in a dangerous situation this early on, and we remain behind Ricciardo as we now move on to the next lap, and we have a very bad slide out of turn 5. I think maybe a better exit. We could have had a look into turn 7, but unfortunately we won't have that opportunity. Next lap, we're once again right behind Ricciardo. Can we have a look here? No, we cannot. So you'll also notice that Carlos Sainz is behind us. He has found a way past Leclerc at some point in this Grand Prix, but also we're right behind Ricciardo, but we're going to come in this lap, and so will he, I believe, for a new set of tyres, as well as one of the Red Bulls, I believe. Yeah, Max Verstappen also in, so Red Bull have given him the preferential treatment because they just know he is the quicker driver, and they're losing touch to the top 2. So we're in for, actually the top 3 I should say, because Vettel is in 3rd place. We're coming in for the medium compound tyre, I think, as is everybody else. So the strategy here today is a 2-stop, which we've been held in the pits there, but that's fine. We almost lose out to Carlos Sainz, but we luckily just come out ahead of him. So we remain in 6th place here. Effectively, we almost go over the pit exit line. I thought when I went too deep into the pit exit, I was going to get a drive-through. Luckily for us, though, we just get away with a warning, so that doesn't completely ruin our Grand Prix. And we do lose a bit of time to Daniel Ricciardo. We've got Sainz right behind us now, but he's not close enough to make a move here into turn 7. But we have to focus on catching back up to Daniel Ricciardo. Lost a little bit of time, and you can see Ricciardo and Verstappen, though, now in a lot of traffic, and so is Albon, who came out ahead of Verstappen despite Verstappen having the undercut. So we also got Vettel ahead in the Ferrari, who's been stuck in traffic. So, oh, actually, sorry, Albon's behind us, so we did get the undercut on Albon. I'm getting very confused here. Albon behind us. We just made a fantastic move around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo, who was going very cautious into turn 3, and we used the outside line to drive right around the outside. So Verstappen gets past Latifi, and we're going to dive up the inside. We don't want to be stuck behind the Williams driver through the second sector, and we do get past. And now we're following Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel into turn 8 and 9. So yeah, good work there to get up ahead of Verstappen, as now Vettel is, I believe, overtaking the other Williams. That's actually Hamilton overtaking the Williams. So you can see how the traffic's really got us in the fight of this front group, and Vettel now will try and dispatch of George Russell. We almost ran into the back of Verstappen in turn 1 as well, which could have been a disaster for our race. Now Verstappen looking for a way past Russell, and I'm just looking for an opportunity anywhere I can find out Max Verstappen. This is an opportunity to get past the Dutch driver, as we almost throw it down into the wall at the last corner. Ricciardo sweeps around the outside, and we went for a half-hearted attempt up the inside, and we've made contact. I regret that move a lot. I thought I could throw it up the inside, but that's not really a braking zone, and I just had to surrender to Ricciardo in that position, and unfortunately we've broken the front wing. We're going to come in for an earlier than expected pit stop. We were supposed to come in around lap 14. We're going to throw on the hard tyre, and hopefully we can gain a little bit of time back with an earlier undercut from all the time we're losing driving a full lap round on a broken front wing, and plus the front wing change in the pit stops. You can see, though, there goes George Russell past us, so we're going to be a long way behind where we need to be. Our teammate Schumacher also ahead, and he, I believe, hasn't stopped yet, I believe. So, you know, this or maybe he has stopped yet, I'm not too sure. Ocon, who's not having the best race, up just ahead of our teammate as well. So yeah, move on to lap 13 here, and we're slowly closing in on Grosjean ahead, and also Russell. But now we have Lance Stroll out of the Grand Prix. Lance Stroll is out of this Grand Prix. So we've been thrown a lifeline here in this Grand Prix with Stroll out. So yeah, that's really saved our race here, and we're going to be able to catch up to the rest of the field. You can also see Lance Stroll's car off to the right side there. But next lap around under the safety car, a few cars coming out of the pit lane, including Albon and Leclerc. So I didn't expect to be around these guys. I thought we were going to definitely be last, but we've come out ahead of Alexander Albon and just behind Charles Leclerc. So those two didn't have great pace. Maybe they got stuck in traffic themselves, as now the safety car is coming in here, though, at the end of lap 16. So back to green flag racing. We're down here in 19th place, but can we do anything about scoring points today from this position? I believe there are multiple cars yet to make it a second stop in this Grand Prix, or another stop. As you can see, we're going to do the same thing to Leclerc that we did to Ricciardo. He's following Perez and going at a slower pace. We're going to maximise the outside line here and get past Charles Leclerc into turn 5. So a brilliant move there. But now Leclerc has got the switchback on us, and he's going down the inside into turn 6. Very aggressive move from Charles Leclerc with that Ferrari-powered car. We're going to dive back up the inside into 7. He leaves us the space, and we squeeze him out on the exit and move back into 18th place, as now we follow Sergio Perez here. So a good lap, good restart to get a position here on Leclerc, and now following Checo Perez now through turns 10. And can we think about a move on Perez anywhere in this section of the track? Doesn't look like it, although he is behind Grosjean, going a little bit slowly here over the Sanderson Bridge. We're going to go down the inside of Perez. We put our car there, and we don't run into the back of Grosjean. We get past Perez, and we move into 17th place. Next lap, we are behind Romain Grosjean, and we're going to try and do the same move we did to Perez. This time a little bit of a lunge, but we get the car stopped well for the corner, and we take away 16th place from Grosjean. So good move there. That seems like to be a little bit of a good spot for us on this track. Next lap, can we do the same thing with two Sainz coming over this bridge? He's behind Ricciardo, so this is where we were kind of before in the Grand Prix. We go down the inside of Sainz, and we are back behind Daniel Ricciardo. So this is where we were before the damage. But Sainz isn't giving up on the fight. He's got a better run down the straight, and we're going to have to outbrake him into turn 14, and we're not able to do so. So Science retakes the position, and we don't have that move completed yet, as now our teammate Mick Schumacher is in the pits here on the end of lap 19. So not sure what strategy he's running here today, but he's the only one in the pits, so that gives us another position, but unfortunate for our teammate. So yeah, we're still stuck in this little train here of Sainz and Ricciardo. Can we find a way past Carlos here now into turn 5? Need a good exit out of here, deploy the overtake mode and DRS, but the problem is he has the DRS as well, so we're not going to be close enough here into turn 7. We look to the inside, but we're not close enough for an attack, but we get a really good run through 7 with the mid-corner spin. He defends to the inside, and so we're going to decide to go around the outside, and we're going to try and get the switch back out of turn 8, but he's got the inside position for turn 9, so we're going to do the same thing out of 10. We get a really nice run, we get the overtake mode enabled, we almost put it into the barrier, so Science coming back at us here. We're going to be late on the brakes into turn 10, and we get that move done, so fantastic work there. And we now are into 13th place, but Verstappen coming into the pit lane, as well as, I'm not sure which car that was actually. He was following with maybe an Alpha Tauri. We got Valtteri Bottas coming out behind us here, so we move into 8th place here. So we're going to the end of the race. So this is our effective position for now, and we're following Ricciardo, who is stuck behind Kevin Magnussen. He can't seem to find a way through. And now this has been a strength of ours, coming over this Anderson Bridge into turn 13. Can we make a dive down the inside? Yes, we can. And we get past our Daniel Ricciardo. We haven't got the best exit. Ricciardo was shoved wide by us, and Valtteri Bottas has gotten through on fresh tyres. Here comes Bottas in the medium tyre. He's going to be very strong on the brakes, but we outbrake the Finnish driver, and we managed to stay ahead here and hold on to 7th place. So Ricciardo loses 2 places. We gain 1 ourselves, and so does Valtteri Bottas. Next, we're on to lap 23 here, and we've got DRS on Kevin Magnussen. We've got a great run out of turn 5 with our overtake mode. We're using all the power we got. Coming into turn 7, we managed to get down the inside, outbrake Magnussen, and move into 6th place. We now, a couple laps later, we're catching up to Vettel and Giovinazzi, who are in 4th and 5th respectively. Valtteri Bottas got past Magnussen himself. Ricciardo has not been able to do so, so Bottas has been behind us the whole time, but he hasn't managed a way through on us yet. We now move to the last lap. I haven't been close enough to make a move on Vettel. Vettel hasn't gotten past Giovinazzi yet. Now here's Bottas into the turn 1. He's got DRS with that Mercedes powered car, but he cannot find a way through despite the fresher tyres. We defend just well enough there to hold on to 6th place. So it's a very tense ending here. I'm not sure who's leading this Grand Prix. I believe it could be Lewis Hamilton out front, but Valtteri Bottas is on a very, very weird strategy. I believe he's made 3 pit stops in this Grand Prix. As now you can see, we're very strong through this part of the track. Through turn 7, we seem to have a very good mid-corner pace. Through 7, 8, we're not so strong on the straight, but actually, looking at the map ahead, Hamilton is behind the Red Bull dot of Max Verstappen, and I don't believe that is a battle for the lead, so I'm not sure who is winning this Grand Prix. Bottas has got a very good run through the exit of turn 9. He almost had us down to turn 10, but we closed that door. Can we have a look over the Anderson Bridge on Sebastian Vettel? Can we outbrake him here? We're going to have a go, but we're just not close enough, and we actually tapped the back of Vettel into turn 13. We lose a bit of the front wing coming down now the straight of the Esplanade, but we can't find a way through, unfortunately, and we're going to have to settle for 6th place now in this last sector and just make sure we, even with the lack, we're missing a little bit of the front wing, so we're going to just make sure that we maintain our position ahead of Valtteri Bottas as we now come through the final sector for the final time. Valtteri Bottas hasn't been able to get the Vettel hasn't been able to get past Giovinazzi as the fireworks go off here in Singapore, as Lando Norris has won his first career Formula 1 Grand Prix today at Singapore. Unbelievable result here in Singapore. We come across the line for our 6th place finish and really solid points. Really solid points.
What a great race it's been then. Another classic Singapore Grand Prix, and they've held on to take the checkered flag here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. Updated driver standings. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Wow, what a Grand Prix that was. Lando Norris wins his first career F1 race. Pierre Gasly picks up his second podium for AlphaTauri. So with Hamilton finishing did that say he finished third? I missed that. He does. So with Giovinazzi fourth and fifth place for Vettel, we finished in sixth place. I thought I saw Verstappen's dot, but the AlphaTauri and Red Bull dot, I keep getting them confused. I've got to remember that the AlphaTauri is the darker dot. But as for the standings, it's going to help Hamilton catch up a little bit to Bottas with that result, but he really needed to win this Grand Prix with Bottas stuck down in 7th place. So, crazy result. I guess the safety car changed the complexion of this race, and the AI were really struggling to get past each other. As you saw, Vettel really following Giovinazzi. I'm not sure for how many laps, but a long time. Because Vettel had DRS on Giovinazzi, I couldn't get close enough to Vettel, and I was never close enough to make it move, so I just followed him for those last 6 laps, never had a chance of getting through. And same for Bottas. Bottas had a really good run on the last lap for whatever reason, but that was his only chance, and we managed to defend the position. So, yeah, incredible stuff. So Lando Norris is now a winner in Formula One, which is incredible in this McLaren resurgence for them to finally win their first Grand Prix since the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix when Jenson Button won. So that's a long time ago, 8 years, which is just crazy. We renew a sponsorship here, or with Satellite, I believe we renewed that. So that's all looking well, and you can see Bottas has a very good advantage at the top. Mercedes have such a lead in the constructors. They've absolutely dominated the season, and no one's really looked close in terms of beating them. So, I mean, I think Vettel and Ferrari won a few races at the start of the year, but after that, they just dominated. So, yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. So, leave a like if you did enjoy the episode. Comment your feedback in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, just hopefully I can push out more content as much as I possibly am capable of, if I can say that word. And for the next race at the Russian Grand Prix, until then, I'll see you guys there. So, goodbye.